What up, y'all? This is Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Maestro Styles, Trey Frazier on www.barbershopsportstalkpodcast.com. And we got a special guest, and I'm just going to be up front with y'all. He is a Ravens insider. And I on face value, I don't like him. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm going to try to be... I'm gonna try to let them get their little Ravens love fest out and all that, but I feel like I don't like him already, man. I hope he got some good insight. Let's welcome Michael Telford of the Neutral Zone Infraction Podcast. Mike, what's up, man?
What's going on, gentlemen? How you doing?
Cooling, man. How you doing, man? Look, first before we get into the nonsense. First, let me give you an opportunity to plug your podcast, what you get into on the podcast, and when you're on.
Appreciate that, man. So our first episode is going to be this Friday, so it'll probably be up Saturday. It's myself and a buddy that I write with over at Russell Street Report. It's called Neutral Zone Infraction. It's obviously going to cover the Ravens pretty heavily, but it'll also touch on other things in the NFL. And then because we're both, kind of partial to our alcohol, we'll have some like bourbon testing and what the new kind of alcohol that you should be drinking is and stuff like that, just so we can hit like a wider band of audience.
Now that, sir, is a good way to gain my friendship, talking about alcohol, sir.
Yeah, well, I partake in alcohol more often than I probably should, honestly.
Amen. Me and you both, brother.
All right, well, now that y'all got that out the way, Mike, this is the real Raven fan over here, Trey Frazier right here. So let's get right into it. Let's talk about the training camp, and I want to get your opinions on whether you feel like this is the best camp that the Ravens have had since winning the title in 2012.
I mean, it's probably been the best camp that they've had since before that. Injuries have been kind of minimal, which, the Ravens have averaged 19 players on IR every year since 2014. They've kept that down. I mean, yeah, we got the injury to Hurst. We got the injury to Deshaun Elliott. He's got his broken forearm, things like that. But, I mean, you're not having starter quality players like Terrell Suggs go down with an Achilles or Joe Flacco go out with his back or anything like that. So in that aspect, I think it's been really good. Joe hasn't had a good off season in a while. He's looked really fresh and kind of rejuvenated, be that he has a quarterback coach or because of Lamar Jackson, whatever it is, he looks like he's ready to toss the rock around, which is good. So I would say that they've had a very good off season. If they can translate that to the regular season, that's what I'm worried about. Right.
And to add to all the injuries and stuff, nobody's broken their hip, nobody's punched their wife in the elevator, so, there's no distractions, nobody's getting popped for PEDs now. What?
Somebody got popped for PEDs now.
What, this training camp?
Didn't Jimmy Smith get popped for PEDs?
No, Jimmy Smith
got popped for a personal conduct thing.
All right, well, he's sorry anyway.
Well, here's the thing, though, and Maestro, I want to get your take on this too. Sure. The way they described what he's getting suspended for, they're saying for threatening his girlfriend, his ex, or whoever. I never heard of somebody being suspended for threatening somebody verbally. That's something new to me.
It's the league trying to exert their will, man. Honestly, it started with the Ray Rice thing. And the league kind of, for lack of a better term, they showed their ass on that. Mm-hmm. And then they've had, Zeke with the lady at the nightclub and then the kicker from the Giants. And they've been so inconsistent. 6 games here, 3 games here, 1 game here. They're still trying to figure out what they should do. And for something like this, honestly, this happened, it was like a year and a half ago. The actual incident happened. Mm-hmm. So this is the NFL just trying to show equity, because they could have swept this under the rug and just been like, hey, you're getting docked pay. Right. Nobody would have found out anything about it, and it would have been a better look for the league. But for whatever reason, the league thought they had to bring it to light.
Yeah, kind of similar to the Jameis Winston stuff. Like, this happened 2016, and now they're bringing this up 2 years later.
Right. Right. They're just bringing all kinds of bad attention on themselves. I don't think they should have done it, but then I'm a Ravens fan, so that might be a little bit biased. You know what I mean?
Nah, I hear you, man.
All right,
No
so
question.
now that we broke the ice, I'm just gonna go out and say it, man. Y'all think y'all got a chance to mess with us this year? Cause we the bullies, man. I know y'all. Trey is the first thing he's gonna say. Well, in the past such and such years.
No, I'm not gonna say anything like that. All I'm gonna say is that even without Jimmy Smith, our secondary is head and shoulders above yours.
I'm not gonna argue with you there because we got young boys.
Yeah, you got boys without talent too. You reached for a safety in the first round.
I mean, Mike Mitchell's gone, so that's the past, my brother. Mike Mitchell is gone.
No, you still got Artie Burned.
Artie Burns is solid. Artie
burned, as in he gets burned.
I mean, all right, y'all got that one Mike Wallace when he dived and he shouldn't have dived and he ran 90 yards. I mean, yeah, are y'all gonna beat us this year? Are y'all gonna beat us this year?
It's
Absolutely.
going to be a 1-1 split.
It's going to be a 1-1 split.
Absolutely.
And the wrench that I think we take one in your house and you take the other one in our house. I don't know why. I just have a feeling it's going to go down this year.
I mean, I want to be objective with you, man, because you sound like you really do this Raven stuff. I want to be objective with you, man, but I'm just going to say it, man. Y'all not messing with us this year, man. I think it's going to be a 2-0 sweep and we're going to win a division solely because there's nothing that y'all could do with AB, Le'Veon, and your bet.
If you don't want me to talk about the past, then don't bring up AB and Le'Veon, because AB has had less success against the Baltimore defense than he has had against every other team in the league.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna bring up things. All right, well, I'm gonna bring up the past because it fits my argument. I'm gonna bring up things like the
immaculate extension. Is that what you're gonna bring up?
Steelers fan.
Yeah. That's what we do, man. We do it when it's convenient for us, man. So I'm gonna bring up things like that. I'm gonna bring up how Le'Veon then chewed through y'all, and you know what I'm saying. And Le'Veon done did his thing with y'all a few times, if I do say so myself. And
literally a few.
And here's the thing, man. And here's the thing. Me and Trey argue about this often. There always seems, and even when even in the I'd say that 2012 to say 2016 stint when y'all was like, it was like y'all had won the past like 8 out of 11 games, something of that.
Yeah.
Even then, when y'all was beating us more than we were beating y'all, there was always this thing in the air that there was just this regalness of the Pittsburgh Steelers over the Baltimore Ravens, and my question to you is do you feel that regalness, and B, do you just feel like the Ravens when they came upon us in 1996, 96,
mm-hmm.
that they was just trying to create mini Pittsburgh Steelers?
No, it didn't start out like that. Honestly, they came into the league and didn't really know what they were doing. They just knew that they had to get rid of all the Cleveland Browns on the team, which, the first time they had a good season, there was only 8 Cleveland Browns left on the roster. So that was the right idea. Now, when DeCosta said they were trying to mimic Pittsburgh, he didn't mean that they were trying to create the same kind of team as Pittsburgh, obviously, because you guys focus on offense, we focus on defense. Y'all don't have a defense, we barely have an offense.
I mean, but
he's just trying to he's trying to mimic a winning culture. Like, as a Ravens fan, as a Ravens player, they expect and we expect to win. That's why Ravens fans get so mad when we don't, because it's expected at this point. I mean, we were up and down. We were down the first 4 seasons, but it's been trending up ever since then until 2013 when it just kind of flatlined a little bit.
I mean, I don't know. The Cowboy years, though?
It was up and down.
I mean,
from 01 to 07, that was kind of a
basically
down
when you
year,
drafted Flacco.
Basically
when you drafted Flacco.
What do you mean when we drafted Flacco?
When y'all from the time y'all won the Super Bowl to the time y'all drafted Flacco, y'all was meh.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
from 01 to 07. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like, they had some playoff appearances.
Yeah.
But they never won playoff games.
I think that Baltimore has always been the they're going to be good but never got there type of team. Like historically.
It's always, historically, when the expectations was on the team, they would fail to meet the expectations. But when you go into the offseason and nobody's talking about them, and they're just quietly moving along in the regular season, they win 11 games, 12 games, that's when the Ravens are really at their best, when nobody's really giving them the media attention that, what us as Raven fans feel like they deserve anyway.
How you feel about Joe Flacco, man? Like career-wise, how you feel about Joe Flacco?
Joe Flacco has always been exactly what I thought he would be. He's a slightly above average starting level quarterback that, when surrounded with the right tools and the right supporting cast, can appear to be good.
Hey, man, I appreciate this objectivity, man.
I'm nothing if not objective about my team. I've always been one of the realer type of individuals. Do I think Joe Flacco is a top 10 QB? No, he never has been. Do I think he's a bottom 10 QB? No, he's not that either. There's a bunch of aspects from the past few years when he's had his really down years. There's been a bunch of aspects that go into him having those down years. He hasn't had a QB coach. He's had a rotating carousel at offensive coordinator. The weapons have been an absolute joke, up to and including drafting Brashad Perriman,
absolutely,
as I call him, in the first round. The defense and the rest of the team and Joe Flacco through the injuries have done what they could to keep the team competitive. But there's only so much that you can ask this team to do when nothing is staying the same. If you look at the quote-unquote great teams in the league, the Patriots, the Seahawks, when they had their run of greatness, same with the Broncos, the Steelers, things stay the same. Not stagnant, but they stay the same. There's that continuity that the Ravens haven't been able to enjoy for the past 5, 6, 7 years.
And Mike, let's be honest about this also. Not only the things that you said, but ever since Dean Pease took over the defense in 2012, the Super Bowl year, they've been subpar.
Can we not?
Not what?
Yeah, no.
Can we not?
Yeah, let's talk about Dan. Let's talk about Dan.
I mean, but for real though, they've changed the defensive scheme. The year we won the Super Bowl, and even during that run, there were moments where that defense got tired in late situations of these games, and you've seen it throughout beyond that season, all the way up until this point. I mean, I can't count how many fourth quarter leads that this defense has blown.
Yeah, and a lot goes into that too. I mean, a big part of it was Dean Pease. You hear the players say it. You've heard people that are in the know say it. He didn't allow players to react based on what they saw on the field. They had an assignment and they had to stick to it. He would go to this soft prevent defense with a 3-point lead, and 4 minutes left in the quarter or in the game, and he would think that would be enough. So I think having Wink in there, calling a more aggressive defense, I think that'll help. We've not added a couple of pieces, but we got a couple of pieces back that we were missing. It looks like an improved pass rush. So hopefully we won't see the same old thing this year. But I mean, we lead the league since, 2015 in games decided by single digits. We need to win more of those games. If we win one or two of those games every year, we're in the playoffs every year that we've missed.
So talk to me about Ozzie, man.
What about him?
Hey, man, I think this is this last year, right?
Yeah, this is last year. Yep.
So
SG,
necessary, right?
SG,
necessary.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%.
It's probably for different reasons than you think, though.
Well, here's again. I'm able to. I think I'm able to be objective in times where I'm not totally ridiculing my co-host here. So my issue with Ozzie is draft picks and you've alluded to it. Draft picks have been garbage. I mean, straight. I'm CJ Mosley.
I don't want to say garbage. All right, so obviously that the Ravens traded Kamale Correa today for a 6th round.
Yes.
Right, so let's focus on that draft specifically, right? So the 2nd round and 3rd round pick was Kamale Correa and Bronson Confusi.
Yep.
All right, both of them are non-entities on this team. Kamale literally is a non-entity. He's a Titan now.
Yeah.
However, in that same draft, You have Ronnie Stanley.
Okay.
You have Willie Henry, who's starter quality DL. You have Tavon Young, who's one of the better slot corners in the league. You have Chris Moore, who's up and coming as a wide receiver.
I don't believe in Chris Moore yet.
Well, I mean,
sure.
Chris Moore on special teams, yes.
Yeah, sure.
But
sure, I give him
wide
that.
receiver have yet to see with the wide receiver.
I'd agree with you, but then we'd both be wrong.
Yeah.
But his day 3 picks have been better than his day 2 picks. An interesting stat came to light today. No second-round pick for the Baltimore Ravens has played more than 5 years for the Baltimore Ravens. That is a problem, I agree, but let's not act like all of his drafts have been garbage because, I mean, 2 Hall of Famers, 2 more in the pipeline, probably a 3rd in the pipeline.
Next year, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, you got Ed Reed. You're probably going to get Marshall Yonda in there.
Okay, so let me say this. Let me say drafts after Joe Flacco, the year Joe Flacco and Ray Rice came in. Would that be a more efficient statement?
Again, it's a yes and no. Because there have been some really bad drafts.
Yeah.
And there have been a lot of times where, like an O-lineman, we've had this habit of drafting O-linemen and then making them great, and then they go and become the highest paid player at their position, 4 years down the road. So it's a mixed bag because you have those players that are bad, like Ghost, like Matt Elam.
That was the worst.
Like that. Yeah. But you also have these guys that Ozzie has drafted. They're just not on the team anymore. So I don't know if that's a knock against his drafting because they're getting paid elsewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, even our fullbacks are getting paid elsewhere. You know what I mean? Is it bad management because we can't pay him because we paid Joe Flacco all that money? Maybe that's more accurate. But I don't think his drafting as a whole should be taken and being held accountable.
Okay, so my last question is Lamar Jackson. Now, thank you, man. Tell me about how you feel about Lamar Jackson, man. And it's early. I know it's early, and I'm just going to warn you that if this is not a satisfactory answer, that my chat room is going to respond negatively.
Good. I hope so. So, what a lot of people probably don't know about me is that I live in Louisville.
Okay.
I work 5 minutes from Cardinal Stadium. For the past couple of years, I've seen Jackson play. I have seen him grow. I have seen what he can do, what he cannot do. Lamar Jackson, and I wrote an article about this, and it got negative reviews, which I loved. Lamar Jackson is going to be a bust.
Woo!
Whoa. What?
Hold on, man. I gotta give you a bomb, man. Hold on, bro. I gotta give you a flex bomb right here.
Hey, don't give him no bomb. What?
Just hold on.
What?
So, not a bust like, he's going to be out of the league in 5 years. I mean a bust like he's been hyped up so much by the national media and by everybody else.
But Mike,
he can never live up to those expectations.
But Mike, you know what that's about.
Not who it is.
I think, Mike, I got a theory about that because I see a lot of ESPN, I see a lot of CBS Sports, and I see a lot of people, and including Skip Bayless, mind you, are pushing Lamar Jackson to be the starter just so they could get Joe Flacco up out of there. I think that's more about getting Joe Flacco up out of there than it is actually wanting to see Lamar Jackson start right away.
Yeah, people, the Ravens fans and the national media. So this is the first time that the national media has really talked about the Ravens in the offseason since Joe Flacco signed his initial contract.
Right.
And even then, it was just like a blip on the radar, and then it was done. We've been hearing this since day one of the draft. It has been the same thing over and over again. The kid can't live up to that hype because everybody has these, oh my God, he's better than Mike Vick expectations. Or, oh my God, he's a Hall of Famer already.
Yeah.
He's not even a pocket passer. How is he going to be a Hall of Famer?
Say that then.
I disagree with that.
You think he a pocket passer?
I think, well, let me backtrack a little bit. He's not a pocket passer yet, but in some of these games in the preseason I've watched him make the decision where first instinct, he could have ran, but instead he decided to sit in the pocket and just deliver the ball. Now, he does have accuracy issues. I agree with that. but I think he could fix that. I mean, in a couple of years.
Yeah, he can fix that. But there's also tape, and I broke down the tape for some people, of him standing in the pocket, yes, but he would have Jaleel Scott over to the right, wide open. He'd look to the left, he didn't see anybody, pull the ball down, run. Another play, he had 4 receivers open, 3 wide receivers and a tight end open, and it was an empty set. He pulled the ball down and ran. All 4 of them were open. So he wasn't going through his progressions. He gets nervous in the pocket. Yes, this is something that he can work out, but you have to remember, over in Louisville, they run a pro-style offense.
Pro-style, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They were trying to get him comfortable in the pocket.
Right.
The same thing happened there that's happening here. He's getting put behind a bad O-line. He's not having time to get comfortable. And even though he threw all over that Clemson defense, I mean, he's not going to be able to do that in the NFL. Just throw wild passes and see what happens.
Yeah, I agree with that one.
So if you're,
there's a lot of stuff he has to work on.
So Mike, if you're right about this, we 5 years from now, we look back on this moment, and you end up being right about Lamar Jackson. Would you also would you also kind of put this as an indictment on Ozzie Newsome because he drafted Lamar Jackson in his final draft as the Ravens GM?
I think you would have to. He tried to go out with a bang and then completely missed on it. Then yeah, I mean, I think you have to do that. You got to think, man. Baltimore is not the place that has drastic changes on offense. I mean, look at it. Even from Joe Flacco down to Bowler, all the quarterbacks that they've had a certain kind of quarterback and it has worked for them. It's been a run-first offense, even up to Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco put up good numbers in 2014, but he has an 11-1 record when he throws 30 or less passes in a game.
Right.
He's a guy you want throwing 35 times max.
Right.
With Lamar Jackson, there's going to be a whole bunch of running. There's also going to be a whole bunch of throwing. Because if he keeps on the arc that he is going on, even with this last game, if he keeps going on that arc, he's going to be behind in a lot of games.
And then more the risk for injury if he continues the style of play with just running the ball.
Hey man, I like you at like 50% me liking you, man, because that I appreciate you not being that the Lamar Jackson pole jocker that a lot of these Ravens fans are around here, man. And
it has been since before the draft even happened. I've gone on record saying I do not want Lamar Jackson. I do not. And then once we drafted him, I said I still don't want him. I hope he proves me wrong, but I don't think he will.
He'll prove you wrong, man.
Man, because I'm telling you, Trey was waving the flag. He was waving the flag.
I hope he does prove me wrong. He's not going to. I hope he does.
He will.
Let me be honest with you, man. I'm a little disappointed in my chat room because everybody beyond him. Lamar Jackson this, Lamar Jackson this, and we
I'm
only
looking
got
for a specific somebody in the chat
and nobody's
room.
dogging you for this. Like you must have really hit them with some stats that they couldn't come back from. End of the Bench podcast does though say I don't think he's going to be a bust. I think the problem is the same as most QBs. Stop trying to call players to fit into this cookie-cutter mold. Design an offense around the talent you have, not what you want the talent to do.
Absolutely. They need to build the offense around Lamar Jackson. Otherwise, it is going to fail. And I'll tell you what, if they keep – I can see them start trying to do it with like a Mark Andrews – who's a pass – basically, he's a wide receiver in a tight end's body.
Yep.
You have Hayden Hurst, who can help out with blocking and catching. I can see them trying to start building a run-pass offense. At the same time, they're going to have to learn to stop signing these veteran Band-Aid wideouts and get the kid some youthful talent around him. Otherwise, this is never going to work.
Yeah.
So that was my next question, man. I was going to ask you how you feel about this revamped wide receiver core because, look, Michael Crabtree is good, and I think that he can be. I don't think he's going to be necessarily Anquan Bolden with the Ravens, but I think he can kind of fit that mold.
He'll be a good red zone target. For sure.
How you feel about this wide receiver core and and I gotta hit you with the 2-part because I don't want to kill too much time. How do you feel about Alex Collins?
Whew, that's my guy right there.
That's your guy.
Yes, sir.
That's my guy.
Yes,
all right,
sir.
So let's start with the wide receiver group because I'll go on a rant about Alex Collins, I'm sure. The wide receiver group, I think they did a good job. All right, they didn't hand out any monstrous contracts. Grant.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't hand out anything stupid high for these guys. Michael Crabtree has had his problems with drops, but he's also been a touchdown machine. I think he'll be really good to help move the chains, and like you said, a red zone target. Willie Snead, before last year he was injured, suspended, then got phased out of that offense.
Yeah.
Before that, he was a top 5 slot option.
I agree with that.
Having him as a slot option is huge for a guy that likes to take those short underneath passes. And then John Brown, man, he has been so good in camp and in preseason. If he can recapture some of what made him so good in 2015, that is a legitimate downfield threat. You add Chris Moore to that, who is learning how to play at the pro level. And let me address Chris Moore, because one of you said something earlier. Chris Moore, his first year in the league, all he did was play on special teams.
Yep.
Nobody got to see what he could do.
Yep.
And I was always there like, hey, this is the guy. Just trust me, this is the guy. Torrey 2.0, except he can be better than Torrey. So he has downfield threat. He can also make acrobatic catches. He fights for the ball. He's physical. Last year when they threw him into the lineup, just kind of threw him to the wolves. You saw him struggle at first and then get better as the year went on. And then eventually he just took the place of Brashad Perriman. Brashad Perriman was a healthy scratch, and Chris Moore took his place. We've seen him progress even more. Chris Moore ceiling is a wide receiver 2, but I'm okay with that. Torrey Smith's ceiling was a wide receiver 2. We just made him play like a wide receiver 1.
Oh man, that's 100% factual. That's 100% factual.
The one thing that I don't like is that we don't have a true number 1 wide receiver.
Yeah.
To counter that, we just have a lot of consistency, and I honestly think that having a group full of consistency will beat having one playmaker. You know what I mean? The Ravens have shown that they can have success with a good defense and an okay offense. I mean, that's just how their model has been.
Even in today's NFL, Mike?
Yeah, absolutely. Look at Denver.
Especially,
when they won the Super Bowl a couple years ago.
Yep.
They had a great defense.
Yeah, Seattle, too.
Peyton Manning couldn't throw the ball more than 10 yards.
Right.
So, yeah, I absolutely think that it's still possible. Is it harder? Probably. But they have this guy named Alex Collins to bust open the run game.
Right. And
let me tell you, man, let me get into this argument.
Before you answer the question about Alex Collins, I just want to say that last week on the show, me and Maestro here got into a debate about Alex Collins, and Maestro called him.
I was getting ready.
Yeah, Maestro called him.
He got a fumbling issue.
He got a fumbling problem. Now, Alex Collins only had 4 fumbles last year, and he feels like 4 fumbles equates to having a fumbling problem.
Really?
Do you feel the same way?
No, Le'Veon Bell had 3.
Le'Veon Bell had 3. I thought it was 2.
I'm glad you brought that up,
Le'Veon
Mike.
Bell had 3. You know how many the leading fumbler in the league had?
What was that?
He had 8.
Right. Yeah.
That's a fumbling problem.
I think
Alex Collins had ball security issues when he was at Arkansas. He had limited playing time in Seattle, so he didn't get to learn how to hold the ball. As the year went on in Baltimore, you saw him fumble less and less. He did have one more, I think it was against the Colts maybe at the end of the year. However, having 4 over that span of time is not terrible. It's easily correctable.
Yeah, and Maestro, I got to call you out, man, because I looked up Le'Veon Bell's stats for 2016. He had a total of 4 fumbles. So, in your mind,
it was 2. I said it was 2. No, I said it was 2. I thought it was 2.
But it's actually 4.
Yeah. Okay.
So, in your eyes, what you said about Alex Collins, Le'Veon Bell had a fumbling problem in 2016.
Right, for me, and I stand true to this. For me, 4 and up in a year is a lot to fumble. I don't want my running back fumbling that often. I don't want Le'Veon Bell fumbling that often.
Running back fumbling that often either. But essentially, last year was Alex Collins' rookie year.
Yeah, basically.
It was the first time he had a heavy payload. He didn't start until week 5. He almost broke 1,000 yards rushing. He faced the 8th hardest slate of run defenses in the NFL last year. He faces the 10th easiest this year.
I think he's going to have a good year.
Yeah, I absolutely do. I like him for between 14 and 16 all-purpose yards.
What was your projection? What was your projection again?
Between 1,400 and 1,600 all-purpose yards.
All-purpose. Okay. All right. So this is my last question. I don't know how many Trey got.
I'm good after this.
Projections for the season.
10-6.
10-6.
Yeah. I've said that since the draft, and I see no reason to change it.
Okay, and that does that get them into the playoffs? 6 seed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the AFC is not great.
Right.
10-6 will get them in. They'll probably be higher than the 6 seed, honestly.
Yeah, 10-6. Yeah.
Whether that's enough to win the division or not, we'll see.
Yeah, because I still got Pittsburgh winning 12.
A lot of You say you had Pittsburgh at what?
Winning 12-4.
What'd you win last year? 13-3?
13-3, yeah. And we got harder schedule. Harder schedule. 100%. 100%.
Harder schedule.
I believe in my squad.
And let's remember,
it might. I'll be the first to admit, even in games, and if you, I pick Pittsburgh every week. Even in games, I don't really think they're gonna win. It's kind of a psyche thing with me. But obviously, me saying 12-4, I don't believe they're gonna go 16-0. But yeah, man, I think for me, and a lot of that was on display last year. Because let's be clear. We won a lot of games that had we not have Antonio Brown like star players, we would have lost.
Yeah, and let's also remember, Mike, the Ravens and Steelers somewhat had a similar schedule, and last year both our teams faced teams where their starting quarterback was out for the season.
We played some sorry quarterbacks last year.
Yeah.
We did. Absolutely.
Yeah. And this year it's the AFC West and the NFC South. And I've always said the NFC South has got the better crop of quarterbacks.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it's going to be tougher this year.
I mean, some would argue with, well, I don't know about Keenum, but with Phillip Rivers,
Patrick Mahomes, and what they're saying about him anyway.
What they're saying about him.
And Derek Carr coming back.
So you say he ain't good?
Patrick Mahomes is not good.
Wow.
He will flash. He will absolutely flash, but he is not consistently good.
Wow.
I'm watching out for that. Hey man, I like to talk, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. If you wasn't a Ravens fan, man, I like to talk, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. I like how you talking, man. I'm not gonna. So 12. You say 10-6. Playoffs, obviously. Hey man, I can rock with that, man.
You won't like this part though, because I also have the Steelers going 10-6.
What beats the tiebreaker in your eyes?
Say that again.
What is the tiebreaker in your opinion? What's going to break it?
Maybe division.
Yeah,
I think the Steelers probably win more division games because I think we split with the Steelers and the Bengals. And,
right.
I mean, we all know how the Bengals are against the Steelers.
Absolutely,
so
absolutely.
That probably does it.
Absolutely.
That's what's up.
I got one more question before we let you go, man. I ain't gonna lie. I like how you talking, man. I just don't like I don't like you because you're a Ravens fan. But how you feel about the Browns, man?
They'll win 3 or 4 games this year.
Wow. Wow.
Next year they could be a threat, man.
Yeah.
I think Tyrod is too conservative to use all those weapons on that offense. And then, I mean, it's Todd Haley calling the offense.
Yeah.
So, like, he's good, but I heard Steelers fans complaining about him.
Yeah, I was.
Oh, yeah. Right.
So,
I was.
I think 3-4 games is a huge improvement for them. They won one in the past 2 years.
Well, they don't have a choice, right?
No, they have a choice. They can stay at 0-16.
I don't think that's happening. Not with that talent. I don't think that's happening.
They have it. So what I've seen so far, they have a very good defense. Their offense has a chance to be good,
Right.
but their quarterback is too conservative.
Because Landry going to be fighting for everything, just like he was doing in Miami. Like he's going to be fighting for everything.
Right.
It's not going to be nothing's going to be like just he ain't going to just lay out and get nothing vicious. He got to fight for every y'all he getting.
Mm-hmm. But you know what? The way that team is built, maybe it is best that Todd Haley calls a conservative game plan for Tyrod Taylor. I mean, this is the best.
Taylor's the conservative quarterback,
Right.
Sure, and this is the best crop of receivers / weapons that Tyrod Taylor has ever had.
Oh, absolutely.
But he ain't gonna know what to do with it.
So, well, we're gonna find out.
I'm pretty confident that he ain't gonna know what to do with it.
Hey, you guys got to be pretty happy that you're not facing Josh Gordon in Week 1, huh?
Yeah. No, I am because he's known to scorch us.
Yeah,
He's known to scorch us a few. Yeah.
If he kept his head right, he honestly could have been the best wide receiver.
I 100%
I agree with that.
100%.
No doubt.
100%.
No doubt. Hey, man, go ahead and plug your podcast one more time.
All right, you guys can find me on Twitter at ThisIsChibs. I write for Russell Street Report. I do a weekly column over there, and then my podcast, which is starting up this week, is called Neutral Zone Infraction. You can find it at N as in Nancy, Z as in Zone, I podcast on Twitter. Other than that, man, I mean, I appear on shows all the time, whether it's Film Study or you guys. I'm going on one here in a couple minutes too, so you guys can hear me all over.
Okay, that's what's up, man.
All right,
that's
man.
What's up.
Hey, man, I appreciate you, man. Hey, I might have to come find you on Twitter after the Steelers 2-0 y'all this year, man.
This guy. Hey,
Hey,
if you
Mike.
guys want me back on, man, just let me know.
Oh, yeah, definitely, man. And, hey, listen, hopefully, I can make a guest appearance on your podcast at some point this season.
Absolutely.
Okay, we'll have both of you guys on.
I appreciate
issues
that.
there. All right, I'm being paged to the other one, so I got to run, boys. I appreciate you having me on.
All right, man.
Mike.
Be safe, man.
Appreciate it.
All right.